So, okay, let me wait for this text to pop up here, and I'll read this to you guys. Moscow, 2018. It has been 5 years since nuclear war devastated Russia's capital. A few thousand people found refuge in the world's largest atomic bomb shelter, the Moscow metro system. Down in the tunnels, away from the deadly radiation of the surface, a new makeshift civilization has been built upon the ashes of the former, a society of infighting factions in a constant battle against prying mutants. For those who remain, there is no room for hopes or dreams. So yeah, very much in line with the idea of with the Russian mindset, of everything is futile. Alrighty. So I do want to take a few minutes and just kind of play with stuff in the room here. One of the complaints that this game has sort of garnered is its graphics. People are saying that the game has kind of dumbed down graphics to suit the Quest platform. Playing on PC, you can see. You do have some lower quality textures compared to what you might see in something like, say, Half-Life Alyx. But I think for the overall look of something that is supposed to be, grimy and gritty and not just lived in, but falling apart, this is the remnants of a society that has literally completely been destroyed and has collapsed. I think the art direction, or the art design, the art direction really facilitates that
Just
in a way
moment.
that adds to in a way that adds to the story. Does it have some textures that are a little bit on the low end? If I step back, can I sort of see that things aren't perfectly rounded? Yeah, of course I can. Does it diminish from the kind of beauty of the game? I'm going to say no, not at all. This is, in my view, just an incredible looking game, and one of the things that you get with the PC version that you don't get with the Quest version is the awesome rendering and lighting. Okay, so and the art direction and the art design in this game is really down to like the little details of the world, like this chessboard with chess pieces that are sort of scrapped together from nuts and bolts and kind of like random pieces of scrap. It doesn't just tell you that the world is broken and run down, but there's a story behind all of the stuff that exists in this world, like this chessboard created from scrap. The report, I don't know if this is an actual book that is based on anything. Okay, so you have a medkit. I don't think stuff in this medkit is actually functional, as far as I know. The stuff that you can pick up with and interact with in the world is really neat, like this guitar.
I can hear you in there.
I'm coming, comrade, I'm coming! One really cool detail about playing this guitar, while you can't do any fingering of the notes up here, at where you strum, you can strum it's if you can kind of be that precise with it, but it's got each of the individual strings. So if you strum up here on the lower notes, it makes a lower sound. Higher notes make a high sound. So there is a great deal of a great deal or a great amount of detail that was paid to this game. I'm not sure how deep or you know how well the guitar can be played, but I'm sure there's going to be someone who puts together a little bit of music in this game. Same thing with the piano. Each key is accurate to what you would have on a real piano, so you can do one of those slides. Oop, if I can... Okay, but enough kind of jabbering about how awesome I think everything in this game is. Let's open the door and get the game started. Now, I have played a little bit of this game. I did some testing on my own, trying to see, what each variation and variant of this game sort of has to offer. Oh, and I've got someone in the comments. Let me see here. Hey there, I think I'm your first sub. Oh, welcome, dude, and thank you for tuning in. By the way, the game looks zoomed in on stream. It is a little bit zoomed in, so the only options that I kind of have, and I'll kind of work on how it's going to be. Oh, you know what? Let me check something. It might be a little too zoomed in. Thank you for that, but that's kind of the way the full screen capture on this game is. What it's doing is it is zooming in to fit the aspect ratio. Okay, let's see. Okay, but yes, it is zoomed in a little bit too much on OBS. Good catch, thank you very much. Oh yeah, that's way too zoomed in there. All right. That's cutting off a whole lot of the available real estate there. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I don't think I would have caught that otherwise. All right, so let me kind of expand here so that we can kind of fill the screen. And I know that there's a quicker way to do this, but I'm trying to do this from inside the headset here. There we go. All right, now let's see if I go up here. There we go. Okay, so I think... There we go. Okay, so hopefully that should give a better viewing angle. Thank you again so much. I can't quite read your name from the headset, but thank you for potentially saving the quality of the stream. And thank you, Conrad, for appreciating the accent. And I just dropped the controller here. All right. Okay, so we're going to... now we're finally going to move forward and... Oops. There we go. And progress through the story of the game.
Come, Sergei is waiting for us. Seriously, Serdar, who sleeps during the day? And yes, I know, there is no difference between day and night down here.
I get that you need everything, but I can't just leave this place.
It's not a request. And we'll ensure your wife and kid are protected.
That's not the part that worries me.
You're scared?
What if I am?
We all are, Doctor.
Good day.
I'll be waiting for you at the barracks.
I kind of run into the same thing that I do when I was playing Metro 2033, where all I want to do is stop and listen to the conversations that people are having and sort of the diegetic stuff that's going on. This game has like all of the Metro games, has such an incredible lived-in atmosphere. All of the little side conversations that are going on, I think, are just really interesting, and they make the world feel like a true living, breathing place.
Serdar.
You likely already heard the rumors, but there was a mutant attack on one of our guard posts. We are preparing a team to take them down. So everyone's a bit tense, as you might imagine.
Okay, let me get a little sip of my tea here. And coming up, it's such a strange detail, but this is one of the details that made me decide to go for the PC version over the PSVR 2 version. As much as I like the atmosphere that having the deep OLED blacks add,
Don't leave us, Hack.
the graphical fidelity quality,
Oh, great Khan. Go and grab a bottle. I will. Thank you.
Well,
I'll point it
guys,
out in just a moment.
let's have a drink. To living.
To life.
To life.
and this has to be some of the
Yes. Listen to me, Han. You're not a bad guy, but you keep to yourself too much. Always sitting with your books, even talking you into getting a drink is tough. Lighten up a bit, man.
Yeah, or you'll just end up all alone.
I appreciate the advice.
some of the best liquid physics, where you can pour out and empty the liquid out of the bottle. But okay. Yeah, like standing back here on the PSVR 2 version, the monsters as they're coming to you look kind of blurry and pixelated, and up in the ductwork.
Side passages, but they can't hold the south entrance.
Okay, yes, out through these side passages.
Serdar, Kuzmich, follow Sergei. Make your way to the south entrance. Use an explosive to blow it up.
Of course, comrade.
Let's go.
The detail in the ductwork on the PSVR 2 version completely gone. Here you get a whole lot of really nice detail on the ductwork, and I think that's going to be indicative of sort of the little details throughout the entire game. And for a game that, as much as it survives on its atmosphere, it really survives on its little, the little minute detail. And so if you're going to play this game, if you have access to playing the version of the game that's going to give you the most amount of environmental detail, I think you kind of have to go with that one, and that's why I chose the PC version over the PSVR 2. Alright, so we can sprint for short distances. And the performance and the stability on this game has only gotten better since release. I know it was having I know that I had some major problems before they had that day one patch. Oop. But now it seems to be like
Grab the explosive.
pretty rock solid as far as frame rate goes. I do see a little bit of minor hitching when I'm changing rooms and new textures are streaming in. But other than that, But other than that, the performance, the frame rate, the stability is great. I'm running a 3080 for the GPU, and that's a standard 3080, not the special TI, and an i9 10900K processor. So a CPU that is a little bit on the old end, and let's run.
Again, come on, we have to go. Let's go! Get to the gate, it's closed! But wait for us! I'm running low on ammo! Shit!
Can I have a gun? And I think I may have caused a crash by going off into a... Let's see if I can kind of get it to come back here. Yep, I might need to restart the game, actually. I think I caused a crash by not paying attention to where I was going. Sorry about that. All right. Oh. There we go. Oh, shit! Talking about the stability of the game, I kind of almost caused a crash there. Okay, so let's wait for the scene to load here. There we go. Okay, continue. One thing that does kind of hinder the performance of the game just a little bit.
Do we rely on our eyes too much?
Is even if you're playing from Oculus,
the things we can see are real,
let's listen to this.
And those we can't see are not. What's true darkness, and what's true blindness? Open your eyes, and you shall see. Or you shall not. Sometimes one must get into an utter darkness in order to begin to see. We avoid the darkness because it hides things that may be too horrible for us even to imagine. It's the unspeakable that scares us. The unspeakable that the darkness holds within. It's the acid that corrodes the limits of the world we think we know. When the entire world gets immersed in the dark, you can't avoid it any longer. You can only embrace it. What? I'm sorry, did you say something?
Are you okay? I've been yelling at you, but you just kept standing there, staring off into space. Vlad thought you were one of those boogeymen the exhibition guys were babbling about. He almost shot you.
I'm fine. I just had the strangest feeling of deja vu for a moment.
Deja vu, huh? Isn't that what they call it when you experience a memory from a past life?
Past life? Pfft. It's a misfiring of electrical discharges in your brain, causing an illusion, nothing more.
If you say so.
Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to get back home.
Oh, I'm sorry, of course. Turn the key to start the trolley.
Alrighty.
Be safe, Serdar.
I'll be all right.
Au revoir! And what a great way to do the credits. And like I said, despite the some of the low fidelity on the textures that I hear people talk about, let me recenter here, that I hear people talk about, the lighting and the rendering more than makes up for it, as well as just stellar art direction and art design. That's something that, you know, you can't get from, you know, just having 4K, 8K textures. And something you can't get, you know, from an out-of-the-box solution. That's something that, you know, real artists have to provide. And this game is a true work of craftsmanship and artistry from what I've seen so far. This is about as far into the game as I've played. The score to this game is fantastic. The score to this game is fantastic. Okay, so I'll automatically crouch by walking to low heights, or, like I like to do if I'm really immersed in a game, crouch in real life. Okay, so you just automatically jump down when you move to the ledges. This is one of those shadows that I think someone pointed out was missing on the PSVR 2 version. Although it seems like it might be present in the PSVR Pro, PS5 Pro. I don't know if that was something that kind of got fixed with a patch. It's been a little while since I've booted up the PSVR 2 version. I might have to go back and give that one a check out. To see if it's improved, see if some of the clarity is improved any.
Literally every 5 minutes.
Tasha, treating drunken merchants for radiation sickness rarely goes as planned.
He said to send you down to the mushroom farm as soon as you turned up. And word of warning, our station chief is not in one of his better moods.
I look forward to seeing one of those firsthand someday.
So, as you guys might have noticed from the webcam, I am playing using the haptic vest. I'm using the Woozer 3. I picked this up, I want to say about a year ago, and boy, for this, here being able to feel the low rumble of the environment from the underground really goes a long way to adding towards the sense of presence and sense of being there, which for a game like this, really, really important. Okay, so I am getting quite a bit of hitching here in this scene. I might... I think what I might do, I think it's because of the streaming software that I'm using. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit the game, and I'm going to restart the game. Come on. I'm going to restart the game using... removing one of those messy layers. Okay. And let me, where's my mouse? There we go. I think if I pop this right here. So hopefully you guys should be able to see the screen. Okay, so we're standing. Okay, so if I hit continue, this should hopefully not kick us back too far. Oh man, that looks significantly worse. Wow! Oh, holy cow! Okay, this an update since the last time that I played. Oh yeah, this doesn't look good at all. Going
Thank
through.
God you are back. Max has been up my butt.
Link. Okay. Okay, let's set that there. I think the next thing I'm going to try and do to get some of this jitteriness. to try and stabilize some of the jitteriness, I'm going to change the codec thing. And it feels like with Link, I'm... It is in the Oculus Store. It may not be available here on Steam Link. Okay, so no, it is not going to let me launch it directly through the native Steam app, unfortunately. Okay. I will try one. Get rid of some of the annoyances that I was having. All right. So let's see if I go to settings, streaming. Let's see if I knock that down there. That's kind of where I want the bitrate at. All right. So now let's see if I go into games. Let's relaunch Metro. And I'm not noticing a huge degradation in the quality. So I think this might get us to where we want to be. Okay, we're standing. And continue. Oh, much, much more stable than when we were on the native Link, and this is looking great. The only thing I'm noticing is a little bit of that artifacting that is a little bit more present, but now we don't have any sound. So let's see. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to the sound here real quick. I think I know what happened to the sound. It is... There we go. And let me bring us back to the game here. Ah! There we go. Okay. So I think this has cleared up our stuttering issues. Just had to make a couple of very minor changes. And oh yeah, so much more stable.
Max has been up my butt asking where you are literally every 5 minutes.
Tasha, treating drunken merchants for radiation sickness rarely goes as planned.
He said to send you down to the mushroom farm as soon as you turned up. And word of warning, our station chief is not in one of his better moods.
I look forward to seeing one of those firsthand someday.
He is not in one of his better moods. Okay, so sweet. Yeah, so that took care of the little bit of jitteriness that we were having with Virtual Desktop initially. All right. Off stream, I might play around a little bit more, seeing if I can.
Hansa leaves us alone. The Reds leave us alone. The Nazis leave us alone. Even the mutants leave us alone, mostly. Life's good, yes? But consider this. It's 2028. We survived a nuclear apocalypse and radiation, and all the shit life has thrown at us since. But you tell me, where is everybody? I don't mean Moscow or Russia. I mean the world. We're down here, pacing all over each other's territory, like metro station is the goddamn Winter Palace or something. Even under the surface, it's not like we're hard to find. But you're telling me not one plane survived on the entire planet? No one's ever figured out how to contact a single satellite? Or maybe, just maybe, we're not even part of that world anymore. What if the bombs didn't change the world? They moved it to an alternate dimension.
So the year is 2028. This is a prequel to the mainline Metro series, which starts in 2033.
Oh, hey Sardar. Max isn't in his office. If you go through the living quarters, you might still catch him.
Okay, so this way to the living quarters.
Wow! They've got so many different types of mushrooms here.
Huh? I told you, you would like Akademicheskaya.
Everything's so nice here. And we are going to stay? Like, for good?
That's right. Look around. You're home now.
I'm home now!
Mushrooms! Get your mushrooms!
So one thing that the Vertigo games definitely kept in spades between this and the original flat screen games is the character that you get as you're, sort of walking through the populated areas of the underground. This was something that was so great about the beginning of Metro 2033 is getting to walk around and see, people kind of living their life in the underground and the conversations that they have.
We've got magazines, books, some with all the pages.
Oh goodness, excuse me.
Fresh from the farm. Come feed your bellies.
Best price for scrap, right here. You won't find pre-war stock like this anywhere in the metro. Save yourself a trip to the tunnels.
I am going to be doing another some more streaming tomorrow. The only reason that I was so late streaming tonight is because new channel, you have to wait 24 hours after the channel is first set up to stream, and I didn't set up the channel until right about 8:30, 9 o'clock, so this was the earliest that I was able to stream today. Also, had some stuff to do with the kiddo earlier, so I was out of the house for a lot of the early afternoon. Tomorrow I do have some time to start earlier.
Next dish is meat and mushrooms too. And no, I don't know which meat.
but I do want to play through this game. I haven't completed this game yet. This is about as far as I made it during my first playthrough, because I do want to get out an actual, like, written and more thought out review. One of the things, and one of the reasons why I decided to start this channel, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this channel, not just because I got sick and tired of 99% of the people who make VR content being sort of meta ambassadors, or, you know, being paid to review the content by Meta or by the game makers themselves, so you weren't getting like an organic game review, or you know, something that, you know, they were doing because, you know, it's their job to review games in general. They were getting paid by the people that made the game, or by the people that made the product. So how can you trust that you're getting an honest opinion or an honest evaluation? The other thing, 99% of their content is first impression live streams. You know, you're not getting you know, full thought out reviews. And then finally, while I do like, you know, the IGN style review, where it sort of breaks down, you know, the mechanics, the looks, the gameplay, and then touching a little bit on story, my number one thing with games like this, or with gaming in general, is I'm a real big narrative person. You know, I do like my Super Hots and my Beat Sabers and my thrills of the fight, but the thing that keeps me coming back to gaming as a medium, or any kind of media, is the kind of stories that it can tell. And I think that gaming, and VR in particular, gives you a unique perspective that you can't get from either reading a book or watching a movie or watching a television show. It puts you in the shoes of the character, and it surrounds you, it engulfs you with the environment. So I don't like saying it's more immersive, because I think that each medium is immersive in its own right. Reading a book is immersive in a way that watching a movie or playing a game isn't. Watching a movie is immersive in a way that reading a book isn't. And playing a game, and playing a VR game, is immersive in a way that those other mediums aren't or can't be, because they're not that medium. Each medium brings its own perspective to the table, and I think that that's true even between you know, the medium of flat screen gaming and the medium of VR gaming. I still enjoy my flat screen games, you know, from time to time and when I play them, but I definitely feel like I do get a different experience or a different perspective when I am looking around and I can see the world all around me than compared to sitting down on the couch, relaxing with a controller, just pushing buttons. Yes, in VR you still have, you know, some button inputs, but it is much more of you physically inhabiting the space. That's why I like having the haptic vest, the Wuja 3. And like I said, with this game in particular, working really, really well. Alright, so I'm looking for Dude Man.
Please, it's late. Just eat your dinner before it gets cold.
I told you! I don't like it!
What's there not to like? I think it tastes pretty great.
I don't like it!
Do you think that food was free? Everything just fall from the sky, huh? Eat your dinner, young man. That's an order.
I want to have good food! Like in Yasha's pictures!
Dominic Plutocchio. Those old movies. Actually have those things.
And I gotta say, the stuff that like really compels me about the world of this game, and the heartbreaking thing about this scene, why I wanted to stand and watch, as a parent myself, seeing your kids suffer, and you know the misery that they're going through, is such a heartbreaking and difficult thing, and the Metro series in general, whether we're talking about the books, the flat screen games, or the VR games, really sort of captures that sense of desperation and existential dread.
Did you see those Spartans that came through the other day?
Get used to it. Apparently Max is trying to make some deal. A security resolution, he called it.
What? Like mercenaries?
More like showing off. They'll probably march in here a few times a year, give him a high five, and we're all supposed to feel safer at night.
You've got to give him points for trying.
I do not. For all the silly crap he trades for around here. I'd be happy if we had a blanket that didn't smell like somebody died in it.
Interesting little bit of game design here that I'm noticing. So around these two women who are having this conversation, they have it completely blocked off where the player cannot get any closer than this to the table, and I'm wondering if there was a reason in playtesting why they feel like they had to create this barrier around these characters in particular. And I'm kind of curious, will they respond to the music? Oh, excuse me, guys. Really don't mean to start these streams so late. Like I said, this one started this late by necessity. Tomorrow, we're going to get things going quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, like hot pink.
Good evening, Dr. Iskander.
Hello.
Since people keep walking into them at night.
Are you kidding? We just painted them. And where's he even going to find pink paint?
This is Max we're talking about. Apparently he already did.
So now he wants us to go around painting pink stripes on things?
I don't know. He said he still wasn't sure about the shade.
The shade? Does he really believe anyone will be able to tell the difference with these shitty lights?
I doubt it. Which probably means he wants new lights too.
So, okay. This, and I think we're getting to a point where I don't think we're going to be streaming for that much longer, because I do want to, like I said, come back to this tomorrow when I'm a little bit more well-rested and I'm not tripping over my words quite as much. But something that I kind of want to end this discussion on is this is something that you're going to see quite a bit in this game and throughout the entire Metro series is religious imagery, but specifically religious imagery that is in the Orthodox faith. And full disclosure, I myself am Greek Orthodox. Clearly, if we're talking about something that is in I guess, post-apocalyptic Russian world, we're looking at Russian Orthodox, and what's the difference between Russian Orthodox and Greek Orthodox? Are they the same church? Oh boy, is that a conversation that I could fill an entire video with, and I think that conversation is going to be what is going to take us through the night. So, kind of, yes, they have the same sacraments, they believe in the same number of ecumenical councils, so, like the Catholics have, 23 or whatever that go all the way up to Vatican II. Orthodox Christians stop at the 7th ecumenical council, is the last council that Orthodox Christians view as ecumenical because it was the last holy council that involved the churches from both the eastern and the western portion. That was the last ecumenical council before the Great Schism, which created the rift between or created, I guess, the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church. One of the biggest differences between Orthodoxy and Catholicism is where Catholicism, everything disseminates down from the Pope. So whether you are going to a Catholic church in Rome or in France, or whether you're going to a Catholic church in the United States, wherever you are, it's just the Catholic Church. And in a sense, that's the way it is with Orthodoxy. It's the same faith, it's the same tenets of faith, the same creed. But when you're talking about the sort of, I guess, leadership structure, you have Orthodox churches with varying levels of independence and autonomy. So, you know, when you talk about Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, and as of 2018, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, you're sort of like, you know, regional churches. That's called, those churches are called autocephalous. So for a church to be considered autocephalous, that means that the leadership at the top of that church is the top of the structure. There is no overlap in the leadership of, say, two autocephalous churches. So the Greek Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the patriarchs, the top patriarchs of those churches don't dictate to one another. So if something, you know, if the Patriarch Kirill, who's the current patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, you know, says or decrees something, then the other churches can kind of like pretend like it doesn't happen. Technically, you do have the what is called the first among equals, and that is sort of under the I guess leadership, for lack of a better word, of the Greek Orthodox Church. The last Great and Holy Council, not ecumenical council, because you would have to have the Catholics be involved in order for it to be considered, the council to be considered ecumenical. But yeah, so you had the Great and Holy Council where you had all of the churches kind of come together, and the Patriarch, I forget his name, the Patriarch of the Greek Orthodox Church. That's bad that I know the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, not the Greek Orthodox Church, which I am technically a member of. But they are sort of lead the proceedings, but not nearly in the same capacity as the Pope. Something else to note about the Orthodox Church, or a difference.
Have you talked to Max yet? I heard there's trouble at the Mushroom Farm.
No, I'm on my way to see him now.
Oh, good. He went that way.
Where Vatican I, or Vatican Fresca of the Catholic Church, is where it was kind of decided that the Pope had so the mushroom farm, I assuming it's got to be that way, but I do want to kind of check out here while I talk a little bit. But yeah, so and this is, you know, I think the 20th or the 18th Ecumenical Council of the Catholic Church is where you get the infallibility of the Pope, or the infallibility of the Pope while, I can't remember the Latin phrase, while he's in chair. So it's not like every utterance that the Pope says is infallible in the Catholic faith, but when the Pope is speaking, you know, from his pulpit, the Pope's word is seen to be infallible. The Orthodox Church does not have any human member, whether you're a saint, whether you're a patriarch, whether you're a bishop, whether you're at the very top of the patriarch chain, whether you're Patriarch Kirill of fucking Russia, you do not have infallibility. So That's the autocephalous branches of the church. So you have the, like I said, Greek, Russian, Ukrainian, and quite a few others. Then you have churches like the Greek Orthodox Church that operates in America, or in America, instead of having the Russian Orthodox Church, you have something called ROKOR, or the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia. Now, they have, and they used to be fully autonomous. An autonomous church is sort of like a step down from being autocephalous, but the decisions that you make for your church is almost by and large unhindered by the MP, by the patriarch of your autocephalous church. ROKOR used to be fully autonomous, or they just call it autonomous. Used to be autonomous. That was changed to the third and final level, semi-autonomous, which is sort of like autonomous, just with a little bit more interference. And the reason why that is problematic now, with the war going on in Ukraine, and especially the way that it's heating up, and why it's relevant to the game Metro Awakening and the Metro game series and the Metro book series, that uses a lot of Orthodox imagery, and that's why I even brought this up to begin with. Patriarch Kirill, when the war started, decreed that the war was a holy war, and a holy war not just against Ukraine, but a holy war against the entire Western world. And me being an American, that kind of, puts us American Orthodox, especially if all you can go to is a ROKOR, or Russian Orthodox Church, which is all we have in the town that I live in. It does make for a little bit of tension and make things a little bit uncomfortable when the head patriarch of the church that you go to is saying that their country is engaged not just in a regular war, but in a holy war with your nation and with the entire Western world. So, Slava Ukraini is the point there.
Max, Serdar's here.
1 sec. Yeah, send him in.
All right, so we're going to kind of proceed through the story here just a little bit. Oh, and that's going to take us into a cutscene.
Peaceful out of this place with your own 2 hands. You checked them again. That girl had to go somewhere. No, we've been over this. I gotta go. Max out. You want to switch jobs? Maybe you should chase runaways and assholes all day and let me run around playing doctor for a while. I've got a very healthy list of people I'd like to stab with a needle, let me tell you.
I think you may want to work on your bedside manner.
Don't even start. You and your wife are not my favorite people right about now.
Yana, has something happened?
Has something happened? He asks. If by something, do you mean did your wife destroy our mushroom farm because she heard the voice of her dead son again? Because if so, then yes, something.
No. Is she all right?
She's a lot better than her mushroom farm. Shut it off! Shut it off! Close the damn door! Fuck! And there's more in there where that came from. 5 years to build this steel system. Hundreds of issues to consider. You know what scenario never came up? What if you can't hear the voices of the dead inside your pipes?
I don't understand. Yana was doing so well. I'll take care of it, I promise.
Yeah, well, you promised 500 times. I'm up to my eyeballs in bullshit today, so I don't need any more, okay? Sorry. Go check on your wife. But then, you come see me. Friend or not, this station is my wife. This has to be the end of it.
All right. So one really interesting, attention to little details. So in Russia, and especially in the coldest regions of Russia, like Serbia and Yakutsk, and I'm sure I badly mispronounced that, the way that they provide heating to their structures is through their water pipes. So they have exposed water pipes. The water is heated, and the water has to be heated, or else the water would freeze immediately. Yakut and regions up in the Serbian area of Russia are the coldest continuously inhabited areas in the world. And it's so cold that if you have like a cup of water, or you have a liquid, and you can keep it liquid when you take it outside, you throw it up into the air and it immediately freezes and immediately crystallizes. So the water that they send through the pipes has to be heated. As it goes into the buildings, the pipes are exposed, sort of like you see here in the underground, and that is what warms the interiors of the buildings in that area. They don't have they do have like the space heaters like you see here, but most of the warmth is provided through their water systems. So the water piping, or the water system, the plumbing system, serves two purposes in regions like that, regions where it gets that cold. One, to provide water and to move water from one place to another, but also to provide the heating for people. All right. I think this is the way that we want to go. And let me check what time it is. All right, guys, I think we're going to play for another 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to call it a night, but I will be back again tomorrow. I do want to, I do want to play some of this without talking so much, because I do want to get through this game in a somewhat reasonable amount of time. That way I can do a review for it. All right, so let's see. Am I trying to turn off some steam? Ooh. The closer I get to things that are rumbling, like I can really feel it in my chest here. And I can hear that we've got a steam leak up here. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, automatically descend by walking into the ladder. That's simple enough.
If we cut the pressure to these pipes, one of these leaks is going to roast someone alive. That's doing it. Keep it up. There
Oh, crap.
That's it. Thank you. Have it under control now.
Dr. Iskandero, sorry you have to jump across the castle, but you can imagine who you have to thank for that one.
Okay, let's see if I just... Oh, there we go. There we go. Man, they weren't lying when they said this game gets super dark. Okay, I'm really curious to play this. Okay, my flashlight requires recharging. Okay, grab the charger. Grab the wrench, or the winch. Really, really good sense of physicality and the things that you're doing in this game. But like I was saying, I really want to check out the dark areas. On PSVR 2 with the OLEDs to see how that changes the experience.
So, I miss my calling as an interior decorator.
Perhaps.
Okay, go on then. I know you're dying to start doctoring me.
Max said you were Petya again. Do you feel up to telling me about it?
Do you, is the question. I stopped taking my haloperidol.
You what?
Keep in mind I was still taking them when I decided to stop.
We've been through
Please,
this.
Serdar, it hurt me. Your meds didn't make me lucid. On the contrary, they kept obscuring my ability to hear, but I was so desperate to hear.
Anna, hallucinations are not trivial
What you
things.
assume are hallucinations.
You hear voices no one else
The
can.
fact that you won't even consider any alternative is the reason I threw the haloperidol out in the first place.
You threw them away?
None of you have ever heard Petya's voice, so how can you know what I'm hearing?
Because he died, Yana. He died, Yana. 15 years ago.
Ooh.
And you can't hear an 8-year-old boy for 15 years. Where's the shuttle?
Back there, through the vent.
Okay, so the steam doesn't hurt you, it just blocks your path.
I think there's a valve in the maintenance shaft. Follow the light.
Oh, there we go.
I think there's a hole in the maintenance shaft.
There it is.
That did it! Thank you for cleaning up another one of my messes.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can just slide down. All right, sweet.
Max mentioned the young girl disappeared from the station. Could you have overheard someone discussing?
No, mister, there has to be a reason for everything. I didn't hallucinate my son's voice because of a bunch of gossiping busybodies.
For all things there is an explanation. Even the ones too terrible to accept.
I can't exactly tell that to Petya, can I? Sorry. It wasn't fair. Not when you're only caring for me.
My love is not something you ever have to apologize for. It is free.
God, you're savvy. Go on. Run back to your boyfriend, Max. I heard him whining for you to go see him once you made sure I wouldn't burn anything else down. I think I've earned a little hard labor. Just give me some time, okay? That did something. Looks like I can reduce some of the pressure from here.
Okay, so now it opens up this pathway. And I think once we get to where it's a little bit quieter, I think we're going to end the stream and start back again tomorrow. And tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to do a big session where I try and get it all finished up. I do kind of want to...
Max passed through a while ago. I guess you saw what happened at the farm then.
It's being taken care of. Thanks.
So I can see why this game has been a little bit divisive, and I think this is a kind of game that VR needs in order for it to grow in the same way that flat screen gaming grew with the kind of narrative experiences and the kind of narrative stories that it was able to tell. The opening of this game, after you get past the first turret section with the monsters, very, very slow and deliberately paced. It has you sort of just living in the world, and you can look at that, I think, in a couple of ways. You can either look at that as it's just sending you on a bunch of fetch quests, or you can look at it as sort of building out the environment, telling you stories about how this world operates. Going through and having to shut off the steam valves, it tells you something about the way that the society in the Metro Underground after the collapse of possibly all above ground human civilization. You know that Moscow is hit by a nuclear weapon. You don't really know what happened to the rest of the world, at least at this point. You know that there are big monstrous creatures in Russia or in Moscow, but is that something that spread to the rest of Eastern Europe, the rest of Western Europe? How did the Americas fare? But, it tells you a lot about the world that you're living in, and I think that, there are some people that, not just in VR gaming, but in gaming in general, that don't want those kind of narrative experiences, and that is completely fair. But I think some of the best media or some of the best stories and the best pieces of artwork that exists in any form of media, be it books or paintings or television shows or movies or video games, are the kind that aren't produced where every minute of the game or every minute of the story or every minute of what you're going through is sort of flattened out for as general of an audience as possible. I love it when you have things like this that are made where the bulk of its appeal or where you're going to get the most out of it is if this is a kind of story, if this is a kind of narrative experience that you're looking for. It's something that is a little bit slower paced, something that you get more out of the more you pay attention to what's going on, the more that you sort of invest yourself into being a part of that world instead of just pew, pew, pew with the guns, right? We haven't touched a single gun since we got a hold of that turret. We haven't had an action sequence since that opening section. We've just been getting, story, bits of story, and a lot of that has been told not through those cutscene-like areas where you're standing and talking to another character, but a lot of that story and a lot of that has been revealed diegetically through what's going on in the environment, through listening to random conversations that you can choose to stop and listen to, or through little things by, how the steam system works in the underground that provides what is ostensibly warmth for the harsh, cold climate that is just above ground to keep people from freezing to death. Obviously, it's very cold down here. You have groups of people huddled around these fires. You see the heat, the portable heat lamps, or the heat fans scattered all throughout. Everyone is wearing their traditional, fur clothing that is, or fur-lined clothing that is, almost essential wear for an area like this. You wouldn't be able to have that level of storytelling, and that level of environmental presence and narrative encapsulation if it were one shooting range after another, like so many VR games are. So just on my initial impressions of this game, I don't think that I think that there are things in this game, especially once you get to the shooting bits later on, and I could be wrong, that are going to have a little bit of a broader appeal. But, when we're talking about what is, Game of the Year, I think that quality-wise, yeah, this definitely is a Game of the Year contender, but a game that is going to have everyone, losing their mind saying, best ever game, I don't think that this game is going to be that game for everybody. I think for the people who want this kind of experience, for the people who, might be a little bit more entrenched in Russian literature or orthodoxy or the current political climate that we face with, Russia and the block that they're building with North Korea and Iran, for the people who are really invested in following that in Ukraine, for the people that are really invested in that, I think that this game is going to be so much more meaningful to them, and the people that do want that kind of narrative experience, and this, the same people that are out there, picking up and reading Dostoevsky and Tolstoy and the great Russian authors, the people that are paying attention to the Vlad Vexlers and Julia Ioffi's, and her incredible podcast, The Life of a Boy, outlining the life of Vladimir Putin. I think the people that sort of, want a narrative and a gaming experience that is built around a fictionalized, metaphorical version of that, I think that for those people, this will definitely be not just a game of the year, but this will be something that they will put on their, virtual shelves as something that is special to them for a very, very long time. And I'm going to be curious to see if I maintain that opinion throughout the entire game. There are some games that I've played, especially in VR, that have a very strong first impression. Asgard's Wrath 2 was one of those, especially in the opening segments where you're inside before you get out into the open world. Has a very, very great first impression. And this is one of the big things about why I wanted to make unsponsored VR gaming and this channel, and specifically focus on the unsponsored part, is if you look at someone like BMF VR or VR Oasis, or any of the ones that sort of just stop at the first impressions. And I used to do that with my Mutant Fox channel because I didn't have the time to go in depth because, I wasn't doing this full time. But, if you just stop at a first impression and you don't go any deeper than that, you don't play through the entire thing and you don't give it, a full thought out review and, sort of wait until after the hype, so to speak, let the game sit with you a little bit, for a few days, at least a few days after you finish playing it, which a lot of the big flat screen review outlets like IGN don't have the luxury of doing, if you're not able to give your gaming review all of those considerations, and you're just leaving it at a 2 or 3 hour, sort of first impression playthrough or live stream or whatever the case with a lot of the big VR YouTubers, Asgard's Wrath, sure, call it the best thing ever. IGN, you have to rush through it and try and yum, consume all of that content as quickly as you can. Then sure, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. But something that, you kind of sit with and examine for a little while, Asgard's Wrath 2, especially the open world areas, got very, very plain after, the 5th and the 6th hour. It was one of those, I did not feel like I could compel myself to keep going after a certain point. It just got so repetitive and so, not just so repetitive and so dull. The combat I thought was and still do think that the combat is pretty good, but you could tell that it was made strictly for mobile hardware, and because they didn't focus on these internal environments where you can be a little bit more detailed. The world design, especially out in the open world, felt super duper bland. You could tell that there wasn't that attention to detail in, okay, the steam pipes do this, the areas are decorated, and designed because of this thing in the world. It didn't feel like the world of Asgard's Wrath 2 existed for anyone. It just felt like it was there for these trash mobs for the player to go and attack. You didn't get any sense of life happening, where here we haven't encountered any of the enemies of the game outside of that first little teaser bit before the credits rolled. everything that we've been playing since then has been experiencing the, life, the we the living, so to speak, of this world. Who is this world intended for? Well, now we're getting to meet these people. We got to meet the character that you're playing as, wife. You got to learn, that they lost a child 13 years ago that she is still hearing the voices of. You're getting an understanding of how the economy works and how people live and function in this rebuilt society since the nuclear bomb went off. And I think that goes, all of that goes to making this a special experience. All right, so we're going to go talk to Max, and then we're going to call it a night and come back tomorrow. Because I think when we go talk to Max...
I believe you called for a doctor.
Hello,
I
comrade.
don't hear a knock on the door.
You're a child.
I'm the boss.
The way this jungle is growing, we may never have to repopulate the surface.
I doubt God invented plastic with nuclear winter in mind. But hey, a fake garden is better than no garden at all, eh? How is Yana?
Pretending her husband isn't a hot-headed, insensitive ass.
You know what? Good. Say stupid shit more often. Your two are so lovey-dovey as it is. I literally throw up in my desk at least once a day.
She was trying so hard to be reasonable.
My friend, I've watched you both endure several lifetimes worth of bullshit just to try and make her feel halfway human again. Trust me, your wife knows that.
Let us hope so. In any event, the more pressing concern is that it appears Yana has run out of her haloperidol. That's why she lost her edge.
You and bad timing, pal. The stalker who tracks down your fancy medical stuff, very talented lady I used to run with, named Nata. She was supposed to make a delivery over a week ago, which is long enough that I think I may have to strike Nata out of my little romantic birthdays calendar, if you know what I mean. Though, I do know the route she usually takes.
Could the medication still be there somewhere?
The goddamn Holy Grail could be there.
Max, why don't you just tell me where the route is?
Because you'll go. And from here, the first thing you'll hit is a Nosali's den. That's probably the most relaxing part of the trip.
You forget, I am not, shall we say, inexperienced when it comes to Nosalis.
Oh, right. You're all stationed. Sorry. Anyway, normally I'd hire some poor suckers to go, but since we're running low on poor suckers right now, my lovely voice in your ear will have to do. Stick it to your shoulder like this, voice activated. State of the art, when there was a state of the art. It's almost like living in the future. And for times when my wisdom alone does not suffice.
I've heard they don't do much without those bullets.
You want an empty clip, just to look cool? Be my guest. Go on, smart guy. Take it. Yes, I know. Very pretty. Now do me a favor and holster it while you're in the station. Okay, cowboy? You have to at least pretend we are civilized down here. Lucky for you, the same supply cart that dropped Gorky Park off here is still out on the station. And since nobody killed Akim on his way back here, his spare ammo should still be in the trolley as well.
Max, you there?
1 sec. Truck 2, call me when you find the ammo. Okay, I'm here. Let me find the ledger. Okay, go ahead. Yes, I know. Wait, let me check. Uh-huh. Hey, Serdar.
Okay, and I think this is going to be a good point to pause for the night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I will be back tomorrow, probably a lot earlier. That way I can get through much more of the game and maybe with a little bit less yapping. But hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys are enjoying the new channel. So much shaking. Stop the shaking. Yeah, it's... I'm trying to keep my head a little bit more stable when I talk. It might be a little bit of instability that is coming through with the stream a little bit, but I am trying to hold myself a little bit more steady. Let's see. Let me get kind of into a little bit of a less noisy area here. Okay, there we go. We're not hearing the fire crackle. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and make sure that you get updates. There are going to be plenty of live streams, and hopefully, since I have a little bit more time, at least for the next, say to the end of the year, to try and make a little bit of content for the channel. There will be some actual, written out reviews where I'm, my thoughts are much more composed, where I'm not going so much, where I am able to kind of speak off of a script, and where I can do reviews after I have finished the game and I've, sort of, given my thoughts that are a little bit deeper than just a first impression. Because again, I think that that's something that's lacking quite a bit in the VR space. So have you guys played Metro Awakening yet? Are you guys a fan of the Metro series in general? Let me know what you guys think. With that, I'm going to open up the main menu here. And let's go ahead and quit out of here. And and I'm going to lift up the headset. I am going to have to, oh dear. Okay, wait, hang on. Let me make sure that my, my voice is still coming through here. And okay, yeah, so my voice is still coming through here. So yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. Hopefully, I got some of... Oh, let me read some of the comments here now that I can actually see. By the way, what other VR games are you planning to stream? Also, the information you talk about is top-notch. Learn a bit from you. Thank you very much, AB. Really appreciate the comments. After this game, the next big game that I'm planning on streaming is going to be Batman Arkham Shadows. That would be the brand new Batman game by the Meta-owned studio Camouflage. They previously made Iron Man VR, which I thought was really, really well done. That one I'm really super excited to dive back into. I played just a little bit of it, but wanted to wait until the patch was completely out, until I decided to dive, or the big November patch was out, before I decided to dive and do my full playthrough of that. Like I mentioned last night on on my old channel, one thing that I really appreciate about Camouflage games is they're not just including bug fixes in their patches. They are, I think this is going to be included, or I think they said this is going to be included in the November patch. They're going to be adding some new content to the game. They're going to be adding some more challenge maps. And I think they said, and I don't know if this is coming in the November patch, but there's going to be potentially some more narrative content. And also on top of that, they're also adding some quality of life fixes or changes to the game based on community feedback. And I think that that's really awesome and something you don't really see or get a whole lot of with a whole lot of game developers in general. Once they release a game, with the exception of, maybe like Hello Games with No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077, they really listened to the community. Of course, it took them 2 or 3 years to get that game into its final form. But anytime that you have a developer that is listening to the community to that level, I think that represents a developer that really deserves some attention and some love, especially in a VR space where the profits and the game sales are nowhere near the level that you get with flat screen games. And the game engines and building out the game worlds just as intensive as building out a flat screen game. But without the selling, the ability to move 4 million copies in just a few weeks or just a couple of months, like you would get with your God of Wars and your The Last of Us. So really, really cool that you have dedicated developers like that in the VR space. Let me get a sip of my tea here. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I hope to see all of you guys back tomorrow. And with that, my name is Cody Hobbs, and signing out. See you guys tomorrow.